Hey, y'all. What's up? It's your girl, Kia. Welcome back to another episode of Voices of Treason. Let's go ahead and get into it. So, I feel like I have two things that I want to say before I really get into the bulk of the message. But I feel like what I have to say is important. Just as far as those of you guys who maybe are new subs, old subs, if you sub, then you subs. I have the corniest mom jokes. Like, I know I'm gonna be that mom who be telling jokes and my kids are like, Mom, that wasn't funny. And I'm like thinking about it at night, like, damn, that wasn't funny. So it's all good. But first things first is, I feel like I've said this before, but the messages that I give are like stories. And when I say a story, I mean a story of your life, like a spiritual story, a biblical story of some sort. And although you guys may not be guided to watch everything, the way that it's being laid out to me is not just about love or about finances or about this or about that. It's one of those things where it's going to go in a very chronological order. It's going to go in an order that makes sense, okay? So don't be surprised if a little bit of the energy from the last video kind of translates into the next video, okay? So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, sorry y'all, I feel like I'm getting a little sick, but the second thing is that the month of January is about, or was supposed to be about, teaching. But I felt like it was something that I needed to learn before I got on here and really started like putting a lot of videos out. But God has been leading me to do more teaching, to really kind of get you guys to understand, and me as well, but get all of us to be on the same page about words and what they mean and how things resonate and how they translate, and what definitions have in the 3 dimension that translates into the 5 dimension. Okay, so I feel like that's all I have to say as far as that goes, and we're gonna get into it. And oh, another thing, the messages are getting a bit more complex. So if you guys are watching and you feel as if you don't quite understand, I would say have grace with yourself. But we're moving into a new season, and God has been really putting that on my heart. Like, we're moving into a new season. It is what it is. So let's go ahead and get into it. And today's message may not be for everybody, but if you guys consider yourself to be chosen, and if you guys consider yourself to be generational curse breakers, then this message is for you. And what God put on my heart was this interesting what God put on my heart was that you guys have been through a lot for a reason. It's because your family bloodline is going to dwell. Dwell? I hope that's the right word. Dwell. I hope so. It is what it is. We're going to keep moving. But it's because your family bloodline is going to be exalted. It's because your family bloodline is going to dwell. And when I say dwell, y'all, I genuinely hope I'm using the right word, honey. It is what it is. But when I say dwell, I mean like I'm seeing a seed being planted, and you guys not realizing that one seed that's being planted into you is going to be the harvest for your family. And when I say I feel this so heavily, it's going to be the harvest. That generational curse that you guys are breaking is going to be the harvest. That thing that you've gotten over is going to be the harvest. That heartbreak, that whatever it is that you feel like has been the thing that has been blocking you, especially in the heart chakra, is going to be the thing that exalts your family. It's going to be the harvest. And it's not going to be the full harvest, but it's going to be the beginning. You guys are going to be the type of people, y'all, I'm trying not to cry. Y'all know I get emotional. You guys are going to be the type of people that sit around and you are allowed the blessing of seeing your grandkids be raised. You're afforded the blessing of seeing generations on top of generations. You guys are afforded the blessing of things that not everyone gets in this lifetime. And that's why you have to be very careful about who it is and what it is that you allow to be attached to you, because there are people who will never see that. And it's not because they'll never physically get to see it, but they won't see the value of it. You guys don't realize that who you are and the seeds that you are planting is going to be the thing that removes this layer from your generation, that removes this layer from your bloodline and allows you guys to move forward. The interesting thing that I got when I was in the shower was I was sitting thinking about my nephew. my nephew, who is technically my godson, which is funny because when my sister says it, she's like, yeah, my sister is my son's godson, is my son's godmom. And people are always like, what? That's his auntie. And it's like, no, baby, that's his godmom. And it's like, yeah, check it, boo. Clock it. Who gonna clock me? Because one thing I don't do is swear by my nieces and my nephews. I'm gonna be that auntie. I'm gonna pull up to the school like, why y'all? Let's get this right now. Okay? You know, I know I'm gonna be that person. So, honey. But today I was looking at something, and I want to be very honest and say how it is that I felt when I saw it, you know. But I saw someone who I went to school with, and I dropped out, went back to school, and I'll be graduating soon. And I'm in this place where I'm like, okay, I want to be a marriage counselor. I want to be a child therapist. But I also wouldn't mind like going to the FBI. And I also wouldn't mind being like a professor. And so I'm kind of like clocking it all and figuring out like what things I feel like would be best for certain areas of my life. Because I don't want to be stuck in a certain field. And I see this girl who goes back to school to get her second doctor's. And I'm like, bitch, what? Like, what? And it was Black excellence, so I couldn't be mad at it. And I remember just thinking, damn, girl, that's beautiful, that's amazing. And I feel like the lower part of me wanted to feel away. The lower part of me wanted to feel like I'm not doing enough. A certain part of me wanted to hate. But the real me, from a heart chakra perspective, I can't help but laugh because these are real feelings that I feel like people don't talk about. But the real me was like, yo, that's amazing. When it's all said and done, if it was me, or if it was my kids, or if it was somebody that I was connected to, or if it was someone that was closer in spirit or in physical proximity with me, I would be proud. So why is it that I want to feel a different way from what I'm actually feeling? And so I'm in the car because anytime I feel a way, I check it immediately. I'm like, no, that ain't you. So let's check that. So I prayed to God about it. And what God gave me was, you don't even realize that I'm giving you things that are triggering something in you to make you do better, to make you want better. And I had to break it down. And y'all, judge me, judge your mamas. It is what it is, you know, but I had to break it down. And I'm like, I'm really out here by myself. I'm paying for school out of pocket. I'm doing the best I can. I'll get there one day. I know I want to be a doctor in something, and I'll get there one day. And so when I was in the shower and I was thinking about my nephew, I could see visually like my sister in my house and her having a key and me lighting the incense and me having a magazine on the table, on the coffee table, and her looking through it and me asking and making sure like, is my nephew okay with the incense smoke? You know, all these things. And what God gave me was chakras and the 7 deadly sins. And it was this very interesting understanding of like, every chakra is associated with a deadly sin. It is. And when I first got it, I'm like, I don't know about that, God. But when I looked it up, it's 7 deadly sins and there's 7 main chakras that people talk about. And every chakra is related to a sin. And let me just show you what he gave me, because as of lately, he's been giving me a lot. So you got the deadly sins and the chakras. And he allowed me to understand that all these feelings that you feel is really for you to be exalted. All these feelings and these emotions, and I hope you guys are following me. Like, I don't want to put this on y'all, but I hope that there's something that you guys can get from this. But every sin is associated with the chakra. So if you're asking, if what you're asking is for your bloodline to be exalted, you got to start from the bottom. You got to start from the root chakra. You got to start from a sense of stability. You have to understand how it is possible for people to pay for their children to go to school. It is possible for people to put their kids in a position to be successful. It is possible for people to celebrate you, and you got to move on to your root chakra. And with your root chakra, it is possible to have kids that are not out of wedlock. It is possible to have a family that loves you. It is possible to not be in a position to feel like family ain't always blood. Yes, it is. It's possible. And then you go to your sacral chakra. It's possible to be around people that love you, and you know they love you, and you don't have to question it or second guess it. It's possible. And that's what God gave me. He's like, baby, you don't even realize that these feelings are not your feelings, but I need you to feel them. Because when it's all said and done, you're going to be a matriarch, a patriarch. You're going to be a paternal figure, and you need to understand what it looks like. Because I feel like this is about the root of it all. You know, my grandmother and my grandfather could address something. And I feel like this is why when it's all said and done, like everyone has this like understanding that the family fell apart when my grandmother and my grandfather left. You know, when they passed away, it was very different because there was nobody to sit at the head of the table to say what's right and what's wrong. We weren't meeting up like we needed to have these conversations and to say, this is what I'm feeling. I feel insecure. I feel desperate. I feel like I'm in a love triangle. I feel jealous. Whatever it is, like, we're not having these real conversations, and everything is so closed off. And this is how generational curses get started. It's about support. It's about love. It's about everything that is polar of the darkness. Hate, love, frustration, serenity. You know, being angry, being okay. You feel me? That probably ain't even, that probably, I could have used a better word for that, but it's all good. I hope you guys are following me. It's like there's something to combat everything. And if you don't feel it, then you don't know it. If you don't even get a glimpse of what it feels like to be jealous, then when your grandchild comes to you, when your daughter comes to you, when your son comes to you, when whoever comes to you, and for some of you guys, you may not have families. You may be like, it's okay. Maybe, but there's something that you guys are going to do in the community that's going to bridge a gap. It's like a gap that's being bridged. I'm seeing someone knit, you know, and it's like you got the string, and the string, you know, it's like, okay, I got the string, but you got to make something that's very beautiful. And it's like, if you never feel it, then you'll never know what it means to be able to combat that. You'll never be able to give them a Bible verse and say, baby, this is the book of the Bible that you need to read. You'll never be able to say this is, you have to affirm yourself in this way. You have to understand how powerful you are, how magnetic you are, how magnificent you are. You'll never be able to understand it, so you got to go through it. And it's ugly. That's the thing. People try to make it seem as if, and I'm on the verge of tears, y'all, because I feel it. People try to make it seem as if healing is this beautiful journey of light and love and reciprocity and this and that. But I will be honest with y'all. Healing generational curses lets me know that it ain't really easy to forgive. Not all the time. Sometimes it is, and it's cool, and it's like, okay, you bumped into me, my bad, your bad, it's all good, it is what it is, hands up, don't shoot, you know. But sometimes it's that thing that is so deeply embedded in our bloodline, and we have to learn to get past it. And that's what God showed me. He's like, in order to be exalted, in order to be raised, in order for what it is that you're doing to take root, I need you to understand what it's like to go through the storm. And that's what he showed me. He's like, you don't even... And that's what he showed me through her. I wish her the absolute best. Fly girl. Fly girl. Baby. Hey, I love a fly girl. I'm not gonna lie. I love a fly girl, a smart girl, a motivational girl, an inspirational girl, fly girl. But that's what God showed me. He's like, you don't even realize that what you're seeing is a manifestation of what's taking place in the now. It doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be the person that gets 1,001 degrees or 1,001 masters or has to be married for 30 years. But if you learn to sow the seeds, if you understand the seeds, if you understand that taking root, something being rooted is way more important, then you'll get where it is that you need to go with the light heart. You know, and I feel like that's another thing that I want to touch on, because we always want to be the one, you know, like we want to be the first one to graduate. Thank you, Holy Spirit. We want to be the first one to graduate. We want to be the first one to get that major job. We want to be the first one to get that nice car. We want to be the first one. But sometimes the biggest blessing is being able to pour into people. Sometimes the biggest, I don't know why I was about to say blicky. What? That's crazy. Okay. Hey, it is what it is. Sometimes the biggest blessing is the child that you birth. Sometimes the biggest blessing is that thing that goes forward when you're too tired, when you have to pass the baton, not because you want to, but because you understand that your race is over. Your race is over. And I feel like that's what this is about. You know, that's what this is about. Some of you guys may not be that person, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It be like that sometimes. Some of you guys may not be that person, but to be the person that that person talks about, but to be the person that that person talks about in their graduation speech, or to be the person that that individual talks about when they make it to the league, or to be the person that that person talks about when they cut the ribbon on their business, is way more valuable. It has way more value than to be that person. Because sometimes the expectation of people knowing or thinking that you're going to do good is a weight of like, I gotta do good. You feel me? Like, y'all waiting on it. I gotta. What is going on outside? Oh, they're cutting grass. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing, guys? Right now, they're cutting grass. Great. The fuck. Jesus. Oh. Hold on, y'all. Okay. Man, hey y'all, listen, but sometimes it's more important to be the person who is the motivator of. And I feel like that's what this is about. Excuse me, that's what this is about. It's about your family bloodline being rooted in the values that you're setting in stone for today. And what it is that you're learning, it may not be, I don't know. They distracted me with the grass cutting. I'm not gonna lie, but let me take a little sip and we gonna close this out. Oh, I ain't put no honey in here, but it's all good. It ain't too bad. It's chamomile. But yeah, you know, my Aunt Lois. And low key, I do feel like I'm that person for people. You know, it's all good. Like, it's all good. You know, maybe there will be some dreams, and I don't wish this on myself. So me even saying it, I'm not going to say that. But my Aunt Lois is someone that I talk about. Small town girl. Very simple. Very modest. Very womanly. She, to me, is a powerhouse. She sows seeds into her community. She sows seeds into her family. She sows seeds into me. She's a Zeta Phi Beta, you know, so maybe, you know, honey, fingers crossed, my thing's sliding back, but that's neither here nor there. But, you know, hey, we ain't gonna do that because y'all know people like to blacklist real bad, you know, but everything about her is astonishing. Everything about her is amazing. Everything about her is perfect. And I tell her all the time, I'm like, oh Lord, she's so perfect. And she's like, girl, no, I am not. And I'm like, but you are to me. You feel me? But you are to me. And although she's not famous, she's not, I don't know, like the I don't want to make this so long, but let's do it. The world that we live in will have everybody to believe that they got to be social media famous or Instagram famous or TikTok famous or famous or known. But she's not that. She's well respected. She's well connected where she needs to be. And because she's sown seeds into herself, because my grandfather and my grandmother sowed seeds into her, she's able to sow into me. And that means a lot to me. When it's all said and done, I pray that she's alive when I touch my first million, because she will be so taken care of. She will be so taken care of. She will not have a worry in the world other than the things that she chooses to worry about because of the seeds that she's sown. when I was younger, she used to say to me, and I'm learning to be okay with the fact that she won't be here forever. But that's my motivation to make it happen, because baby, you deserve it all. And I know when she's not here, she'll be looking at me from heaven proud, but she will have it all. And one thing that she used to say to me when I used to leave, because I would be in South Carolina for months at a time, and I'd be like, "Oh, Lois, I'm going to miss you." It'd be like 4 days before I got to go. And she'll be like, "You can't miss me if you don't leave." Until this day, I'm like, "Oh, Lois, you remember when you used to say that to me? You can't miss me if you don't leave." But we have to understand the value of sowing seeds. We have to understand the value of being a person who's the gardener, and not always being the flower. You know, I hope y'all got that. I really hope y'all did. So understand 7 deadly sins, and understand what's really killing your generation. Understand what's really killing your bloodline, and move past it, because I feel like every sin you guys have had to go through, and it's awakened something chakral related. I don't know if it's chakral or chakral, but it's awakening something with each chakra. And there's a need to know that we had to put you through this. Like, you had to go through it. There were no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We had to make you feel everything: wrath, greed, gluttony, envy. What's the other ones? Hold on, y'all, because we're going to read these chakras, honey, because I got it down on another page. Lust, honey, pride, sloth, and wrath. We had to make you feel all of this. We needed you to understand what it was like to go through each step and to heal from it, because what you're doing is bigger than you, baby. And people say these things like, "Oh, it's bigger than you," but you don't even realize how big it is, how grand it is. I don't know why I just heard the Biltmores. You guys are going to be like the Biltmores. And this is only for you guys if you really believe it. You feel me? This ain't delusion. Delulu is a salulu, but this ain't delusion. This is if you believe it. This is if you really understand what it is that I'm saying, okay? So that's what I have for you guys, honey. Enough is enough. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work, but it's gonna be a cool day. I like days like this where it's not too much sun. You got clouds in the sky. It lets you know that the middle ground is a beautiful thing, you know. It don't have to be too dark and gloomy, but sometimes clouds is just enough. So that's what I have for you guys. I love you guys. I love you. I love y'all. And I'll see you guys next time on the next episode of Voices of Treason.